Everybody, um, hold on 1 second. Let me turn on the light in here. Okay. So, I'm gonna wait till people come back in, or come in, really. This is the second live stream I've done on this channel, the official one. So yeah, I'm jumping on a little bit early. I might go for an hour, and when people start coming in, I'll say this again, but I have jury duty in the morning, unfortunately. So, you know, that's gonna be fun. I'm pretty much gonna write for the most part. But also, like, I think I might go live from inside, just for shits and gigs. You know, I'll make sure nobody else is on, and I talk quietly, and or if I talk at all, I'll just go on live and not talk to anybody. But I saw one battle after another. That was an incredible viewing experience. Again, VistaVision was amazing, and this IMAX screening was nothing to sleep on. It was very much a great experience, and if you have an IMAX screen, go see it in that. Now, upon seeing it for a second time and it being fresh in my head, I figured that I should, talk about the things I saw, like, going into it for a second time. And, in the spirit of one battle after another, a Modelo, which is a beer Del Toro, or Sensei, and my boy DiCaprio drink through in various scenes. I respect it. Corona would have been cool, but I'm like, cheers, bud. Thank you guys, and please subscribe. So now that I have 16 people, let me get into this analysis and why I think the American satire is back. But before I get into all that, 16 of you, please subscribe. 8 of you, please subscribe. This is an analog horror channel, and as you can tell by the title, this is my 16th day of scouting a location, which I do in order to make my analog horror shorts. Now, that's what's going to be on the channel up front. The thing that I'm going to be working towards most are those, because I'm writing, editing, directing, or shooting, mixing, all that fun stuff, all on my phone. And I lost a short recently due to the app that I'm using. Thank you, Doof Dingle. Piss Flap Shit Pens. Dude, that's an awesome name. But yeah, these streams are part of the streams that are going to be on here, which is going to be the pre-production, the active production, where you can see me actually shooting an episode, and post-production, where you can see me crash out on the $30 app that I'm editing these analog horror shorts on. So that right there is bang for your buck. It's not a put-on anger. It is me crashing out. As you would have seen had I had 50 subscribers and I was able to live stream, because losing a film, that's a special kind of anger. Nevertheless, I'm scouting a location, which means I'm just keeping an eye out for cars, people, and while I do that, it's in the title. I'm breaking down not only One Battle After Another, which I saw for a second time in IMAX, the first time in VistaVision, and Eddington, which I saw like on digital and wasn't really like didn't know what to expect. So anyway, so Eddington, or no, not Eddington. Wait. One Battle After Another is a very hey Crystal. One Battle After Another is a very unique film, and from someone who's a Paul Thomas Anderson fan, he's always felt like a neater Tarantino, and by that I mean he's not afraid to get gritty and real about topics and stuff like that. But with Tarantino, it's his love of blaxploitation and all this other things that add to the dialogue of it. One of the instances is Django Unchained, where the N-word is thrown like so frequently and fluently that just frequently, to where it's just like, all right, dude, like I get it's Mississippi and all, but it's just, it's not my thing. So, but P.T. Anderson, I felt, has more tact when introducing concepts like racism and stuff like that. With this film, I was coming home, I was thinking, like, this is like what an ally would make, like, I'm Hispanic, so I've existed in this country in a very specific way, being on a school bus, passing by orange sellers, like, hey, is that your dad or your uncle, all this other stuff, like just dumb surface level racism type shit. And then it's gotten to some scary bits of racism, but that's neither here nor there. But one of the things that minorities in this country are quick to understand is like locating allies. What kind of Hispanic am I? Good God. Powerhouse. Talk about like a quote taken to, like, with that, like a cold bucket of water. I'm a Mexican, dude. I'm from like a Mexican. Oh, okay. That was a wild. That okay. I can understand now. It makes sense. I can understand the power behind it, because I answer stuff like that too. But we find allies, like just cool white dudes that aren't the like I don't see color type of white people, and those are the just the coolest people, you know what I mean? And so with PTA and this film specifically, I can see where he stands, like on a political level, through all the other films that he's made, Inherent Vice, Boogie Nights, it's just a white guy's perspective of stuff that is going on. And so he is, Leonardo DiCaprio is, in One Battle After Another, he is the bomb guy in this revolutionary group. Oh my God, I always forget their name. It's a French name, the French 76 or 75th, whatever. He's the bomb pyrotech, he blows shit up, right? And so Lockjaw is played by Sean Penn, who's this general military guy, like very just brash. And like everyone in this film, fuck, I should have looked it up. There's somebody here, Boof Dingle, who is God damn it, I'm just gonna say this because it's the only film that's coming to mind. The black chick from the Scary Movie, like Scary Movies 1 through 3, like Sydney's best friend. Who's that actress? Because she's in here, like Regina Hall. No, it's not Regina Hall. I think Regina King. Regina King is Boondocks, I think. And then I think the chick from Scary Movie 1, 2, 3 is Regina Hall. Yep, Regina. Okay, so cool. So yeah, Regina Hall is in this, and like, I honestly thought she would have more in this. She's kind of like the woman who's kind of looking at Leo, and I forget the actor's name, like getting involved. Like the actor, she's like this real militia, only looking out for herself, like putting herself in situations. And without spoiling it, because I would never want to spoil what the overall plot of this story is, I will just say that, like, I really wish Regina Hall had more in this, but what she gives is like a performance of like, damn, like you could have been giving us performances like this throughout decades. And I'm not saying she's not like a great actor or anything like that. It's just like directors could have, like, I can have seen her in so many other films, and like the performance in this is just begging for like Hollywood, for her, like just her being like, hey, Hollywood, I'm here, I can act, you know, I'm not just a comedic actor. And so yeah, her part wasn't as big. Yeah, I know. She's in mostly parodies and other stuff. I know I've seen her in other like regular films, like non-parodies. But like this one is like every actor's dream, you know, like PTA, Tarantino, Richard Linklater, you know, like these are directors that Soderbergh, you know, like actors like know their name and work with them because they are creatives that think outside the box. So in this case, with One Battle After Another, PTA is kind of doing something that I think lifts the veil on like the realities, the reality that we as a whole live under. And an example of that would be, well, a couple of examples. Stanley Kubrick's Doctor Strangelove and Eyes Wide Shut. Doctor Strangelove to me feels like Kubrick showing the world like how not in control we are as a society when we are putting the real power in the hands of people that are insane. Like that's the overall message of Doctor Strangelove, is that like nuclear bombs, all that shit, all that is like not prevalent into the citizens of America. So we have to put faith in people that we vote in, and it turns out these people that we vote in are morons, you know. And then with Eyes Wide Shut, it unveils like a society of the elite, of the rich, and stuff like that. This sort of explores that in a more Doctor Strangelove-esque type of thing. Like with like a secret society, like a Illuminati or Freemasons. They have their own thing with it, and it's kind of like, again, it's like, it's the satires that I like. It's a mirror put through an outlandish lens to kind of like be like, although this is as ridiculous as it sounds, the reality is probably a lot worse than this. And it makes Steven Spielberg's statement about this film, when comparing it to Doctor Strangelove, makes way more sense. And like, you know, seeing it in VistaVision, I caught the references just because Doctor Strangelove is my favorite film of all time. but like seeing it again, I'm like, oh, I get what he was saying, you know. Um, Benicio del Toro as Sensei. Um, so they're living in an area that that Lockjaw is trying to infiltrate, right? And Leo has been on the lam for 16 years. And what I like is that you see him in the revolution, and it's a longish montage of him like blowing different stuff up, and their revolution actually being like a thorn in the side of the government. And so you kind of see the where it goes, and then the sort of like where an era ends, and then like a hiatus from him where it just disappears, where Leo just disappears. And it's him thrust back into that world, and him being an alcohol lover and a drug lover. To what he says, he's forgotten the lingo and codes, right? But in that universe, before he disappeared, he was the bombs guy, so he was pretty up there. And so in like certain moments, he remembers other things that kind of like are back doors to get him to higher levels. And it's funny to see him figure that anyway. It's funny to see him figure that stuff out. But when he meets Sensei, who is the karate instructor for his daughter, you find out that Sensei himself is again like the main guy in this town that DiCaprio's living on the outskirts of, and they're all operating under Del Toro's sort of operation. So like Sean Penn's Lockjaw's character starts cleaning out like this chicken distribution area, and you know it starts a riot in the town. And so you see Del Toro taking DiCaprio through like just this like Hispanic Latin like underground on the surface sort of thing, and Del Toro just speaks Spanish. There's large sections of him speaking Spanish. It does. And I like, I saw this in the fridge, and I'm like, wow, this is fate. I got to use it. But there's large sections where it's just long takes, and he's like escorting DiCaprio through like, I think it was a nail salon or a hair salon. And Del Toro's like organizing his family, you know, and he's just speaking Spanish, no subtitles, and it's like PTA saying to the audience, like, you either get it or you don't, you know, and nothing's happening to where it's like you need to understand what is being said. Everything is being told through the actions. So if you're a non-Latin person, you're gonna follow it pretty easily. But what I like about this is that he's going through all these different rooms and stuff, and all the while, like, DiCaprio's trying to charge his phone because it's an emergency situation, and Del Toro's just introducing him to, like, different members of his family at different levels, and he hands him a Modelo, and you know, because he knows he's stressed, in the pursuit of, like, going to his house, getting a gun, and charging the phone. But yeah, this film felt like a very ally type of film. It's not really talking down to the white perspective, you know. It's P.T. Anderson like being like, this is like, I'm able to like tell this story through this prism, and like all I have is my own perspective. So I'm not going to belittle anybody's culture, but I'm also not going to hold anybody's hand through it, you know, which is why I appreciate the fact that there are certain moments that, or pretty much every moment with Spanish speaking, there's some with Del Toro not even in there, and Leo has to speak Spanish in order to communicate something, and it's not subtitled. But as like an audience member, as someone who wouldn't know the language, they understand most of what is being said through action. And again, it's like the secret society angle is funny. It's a very like dry black comedy. There's certain like pops of comedy like that are just like, whoa, that's pretty fucking funny. And complemented with darkness and stuff. It was just an interesting ride, really. Like it wasn't as pow action as like I thought it was going to be. The way everybody said that this film was being portrayed was, it was this, you saw the trailer and it just felt very but it is action packed. There's a steady pace, and the 2 hours and 40 minutes are pretty much non-existent. It's just like you know, like you know what the objective is, and you're just on this journey through this level of society that most people aren't aware of. And like, you know, and it's just, and as I said, it's like, as outlandish as it may seem, something like this definitely exists, and the evils that are in it aren't as cheery. Like the secret society, I can spoil it, it's not really a spoiler, but they're called the Christmas Adventure Boys. You know what I mean? And like, you hear that name and you're just like, what the fuck is that? Like, Christmas event? It's something to that effect. It's some corny thing, and their thing is like, Hail Saint Nick. But like, you hear it and it sounds like Hail Satan. Sort of. To me it did. I'm like, Hail Saint Nick. The way it's, and I'm like, that has to be something. And so it's again P.T. Anderson just showing the disgusting reality of what we live through this funny sort of, oh yeah, they're the Christmas Adventure Boys. But like, for instance, like they have a meeting. It's like it's like not a suburban, it's kind of suburban, but it's like a mansion almost, or a micro manor. And then like, you know, this guy pulls up and he walks through a house, and there's this woman there is like, oh, would you like some pancakes? Are those famous banana pancakes? He's just like, nah, I probably should get down with the guys. They're gonna start, you know, they're gonna be mad I'm late. And he goes like through this door that has a mural of like a staircase, and the staircase is where the door is. He goes through that door, and there's just like underground facility, like a bunker. It's like round white walls and like a black floor, and you just hear the sound of like dress shoes slapping the floor. And my uncle's like, what the fuck is this? And that's what I was going on in my head. I'm like, oh shit, this is like another level of society that most people are never going to be aware of. But yeah, man, it was a really great film, and it really made me appreciate PTA even more, because again, he was giving his perspective without belittling his perspective and pandering, and it just was a great story. Highly recommend you see it in IMAX. There's a sequence, you see it in the trailer. It's like they fashion the camera to the front of a bumper, right? And it's just, you see the perspective, and it's like they're in the middle of the desert, and you see this wavy road. And so there's moments where the car is going up towards a peak, and the camera looks like it's about to like hit the ground, it's that close. But then it hits the top of the peak and you see the rest of the road, and then it goes back. It's so beautiful. And in the way that he uses it, it just builds this level of tension that you're like, oh shit, this is so cool. This is really cool. But yeah, it's this film and Eddington, the film that I'm going to talk about next. These two films are an intense. I can't believe that they were making this now. Like, it's a weird thing to kind of see these two films released in the same year. It's kind of like There Will Be Blood or No Country for Old Men. Like, these two great, iconic, classic films. And now, with what they are, it feels more like if Doctor Strangelove and Network came out in the same year. And I don't know if I'll talk about those two films too, because again, these Eddington and One Battle After Another both feel like satires of, like, cut from the same cloth almost. But yeah, no, One Battle After Another, Leo's so fucking great in that movie. It's so great. And what's funny is, like, seeing it again, I had a thought last night, like, reflecting on my first screening, like, if Philip Seymour Hoffman was still alive, he could have easily played the Leo role. He could have played the Leo role. He could have played Sean Penn's role easily if he wanted to be a villain. I could see him as a villain. He would fit so fucking perfect. But damn, man, I miss that man, dude. Like, he's my favorite actor, Philip Seymour Hoffman. And there's so many films that, like, I watch and I just think about, like, man, this dude could have been in this movie, and it would have been insane. It would have been incredible. And this is one of those films. It's just like either and I said Benicio del Toro, but I think he could play those three, any one of those three roles he could have played if they decided to make Philip Seymour Hoffman like another ally who's just like who's just knows Spanish, knows all this shit, and just a like, is he blonde? I think Philip Seymour Hoffman's blonde. I can't remember if he's blonde or red. I think he's blonde. But yeah, man, just Leo's role. He should have been in DiCaprio's role, if not Sean Penn, because he can play a great villain. But Eddington is another film that I didn't know about. Like, I didn't really like Ari Aster. Is like, I really don't like Hereditary, and I know that's sacrilege in the horror community. I mean, I have a Joe Bob The Last Drive-In Beelzebub bash, so it's pretty satanic. But, like, I'm a horror fan, and, like, saying you don't like Hereditary is like sacrilege, and then Midsommar, I hated Midsommar. I hated Florence Pugh's character, even though I thought she was annoying, and I know that that's the point of her character, but she plays it too well. And I think it's because I know chicks with that personality type that I'm just like, oh God, anything else. But I'm just, it didn't really gel with me. So other than his first short film, there's something about the Johnsons or whatever that short was, which I highly suggest I won't talk about. Just go see Ari Aster's first short film, get the name, don't look at the synopsis, anything if you haven't seen it, and check it out. You could see it on YouTube. or Vimeo, one of the two, and it's free. But Beau is Afraid was the film that won me over to Ari Aster. And like that film won me over in such a way that I really, honest to God, wasn't expecting. Like, I thought that this was going to be one of those directors that everybody else loved, and it just didn't gel with me. I'm like, I can understand the craftsmanship behind Midsummer and Hereditary, but it didn't gel with me. Beau is Afraid, and this is another one I don't like. I'll talk about it later, but like most of the people I bring this film up with have never seen it, heard about it, has any recollection of it. And it's because, my guess, and I could be wrong about this, it's because of the nature of what this film is about, is just, I guess it's like too real. Hold on. Let's see. At 12:30. Bro, this guy was moving way too slow. Yeah, so. Oh. Oh, I thought that was my aunt that was driving a Bronco. Anyway, Beau is Afraid is an anomaly. It's hard for me to explain to anybody. It is like a 3-hour long film, maybe a little longer, but I don't know what possessed me to watch it. I think I had just gotten a Delta 8 joint, like a pre-roll, and I'm just like, I want to see something trippy. And so I think I got two. I'm like, let me burn these while I watch this. Maybe this will help me. Because again, he was backed up against the wall. And normally when directors make two films back to back that don't gel with me, you have to like make up tenfold. And Beau is Afraid did that. Beau is Afraid was just like, holy shit, this is amazing. This is a horror film unlike any other horror film that I've ever seen. It is the living embodiment of an existential crisis, of just a dour, deep realization of the thoughts that you have about life that are just crippling, like your fears of the unknown, of death, and all this other shit, all the insecurities, everything manifested into this odyssey of surreal chaos, and just like you can process it, but you're like, what the fuck am I watching? And yeah, that film just, I'm like, you're good for a while, man. This is a crazy film. I didn't think I would have a film like this. I think there's a film, what is it? It's on Netflix. It's by it's like, I think I'm over you, or I'm thinking about ending things. That's what I think it is. And again, it just embodies like a couple, and like this man's existential crisis of like never letting go of the quote unquote one that got away type of thing. But yeah, so like when Eddington came out, something happened. I couldn't go out to see it. And even though I wanted to, I'm like, I wanted to see it. Pedro Pascal and all, you know. I understand that there's like, you know, I don't really like seeing him in everything, pretty much, you know, but I gotta support, so to speak. He's a good actor. He's a good, you know, but like, I'm just so tired of seeing what he does and stuff. Anyway, um, I love Walking Phoenix, so Eddington happens, and it embodies not only the COVID, but the societal breakdown around it, the societal breakdown of like social media trends and like wanting to be a part of something, even if you don't necessarily believe in the cause, um, to like the manipulation of a population of people, which I feel is a greater message. I think the great thing about that film is what I took away from it is like us as us as a us as a society tend to focus on micro problems like protests and stuff like this, like in Eddington. But the bigger picture is what we're not focused on. And like if we don't focus on the bigger picture is gonna engulf us to the point of like us not being able to see anything other than the bigger picture, but we're helpless because it's already there. So like when I was watching this movie, I felt so invested in the story because it's through the perspective of the sheriff of this town, and then the mayor who's running for mayor, who is like all pro data center, and the COVID pandemic hits. The sheriff is not one of these guys who likes wearing masks, waiting in line, all this other stuff. So he decides to run against the mayor, who the mayor is all for wearing masks and stuff like that. And so it's just their point of view of them doing like their own, like it's mainly through Joaquin Phoenix's perspective, but he's running against Pedro Pascal's character, and he's trying to like, you know, get like do that. And so what's funny is like one of the scenes, like when he first gets the idea to do that, he goes directly in the police station and starts recruiting the like two other guys that work there to like help him run his campaign within a police station, even though that's a major conflict of interest, and like I think it's illegal as well. It just goes to show like this ill-informed populace of just like, I want to do this is how I'm gonna do it, without knowing the protocols involved in it. But like with that film, it's like this, it's like these little battles, these little one battles after another, that feel like distractions. And like when there's like when these riots are happening and like these mask mandates are taking place and data centers coming in, it's like that's the looming thing that's in the background. Everything sort of comes to a head in a crazy way that feels very Coen Brothers, that feels very A Simple Plan, like Sam Raimi's a symbol. Like, it's just like No Country for it's Fargo. You know, like there's an event that happens that shifts the entire tone of the film, and then the way that it ends, again, it like puts a bow on, like, the last shot is everything that I said. Like, we're focusing on the wrong things. The things that we should be focusing on is this problem. And if you follow the strings of the orange, you can see how this big problem is connected to all these things that transpired within the time of the film. And so, with One Battle After Another and this film coming out in the same year, it feels like there's like this push to like open the eyes of the population in some way. If not like open them in the sense of like like it's showing us behind the curtain in a way that's like, hey guys, we need to start paying attention to this stuff. Like, we need to start being aware of this. Okay, as in control as we all feel, there are other powers operating on a level that us as civilians will never understand. And they're doing it in a satirical way. And I think that with One Battle After Another and with Eddington, there's this push for like a satire of like what we are all used to seeing, if that makes any sort of sense. Like it's like a satire of how our world is operating at this point, like how Doctor Strangelove and Network were showing how the world was operating at those points in time. Like, you watch Network, like, I'd advise anybody to see Network. If you haven't seen Network, go see it out. Go check it out. It's about a news station called BS. I think it's called BS Network or the BS Station, and it's the lowest rated station. One of the anchors has a mental breakdown and the ratings go up, you know. So he says this these like incredible monologues, but like it ends before he cracks and he says something completely just weird and stupid and like, oh, this guy is a fucking crazy person. But yeah, like seeing One Battle After Another today, and I saw Eddington again for the third time the night before last, because I wanted to watch Phantom Thread before this, because I hadn't seen Phantom Thread. It's a good film. It's a good film. I don't think I would have seen it in theaters personally. I like P.T. Anderson. I love P.T. Anderson. But I don't know. It's just not the kind of film for me personally. But yeah, no, I think the American satire is back. And I think that with that is going to come like a lot more people like making films like this, to which I'm all for. Like, this is my favorite genre over everything else. Like, I love fantasy, I love sci-fi, I love crime films like Goodfellas and stuff. But like the thing that's after the genre that's after my heart will forever be satires. Because they're so rare, you know. There's not every satire is gonna achieve what I want it to achieve, and I'm not saying that my standards are so peak, you know, that like if you make a satire, I'm gonna turn my nose down at it. I'm like, no, like The satires I like are the ones that kind of reflect our reality and kind of make fun of us and kind of and shows us like uh, a layer to our reality that most of us will never see, like secret societies and like the government, bureaucracy and stuff like that. Yeah, that will always be my number one love is that specific genre. Um, but yeah, guys, I love those two films, and like, I would say, I would say that like this would be a great double feature. I'm trying to think of the order because the order is important. I think you start with Eddington, then you go to one battle after another. That's the way you do it. That fits so fucking perfectly that like if you're a fan of film and you feel like you want to burn a day, because these, like I said, these films are, I'd say they're 3 hours together, you know. um 3 hours each, so it's like a 6 hour thing. I would say this is me personally. um to the two people that are watching, please subscribe, buddy. And if it's Boof Dingle or X Powerhouse, say something in the chat, buds. Because I've been talking nonstop. I'm a little lit and a little tipsy, so I would like to know if anybody's here. Say what's up in the chat. And if two of you or anybody knows anybody, send the link out. You know, on Twitter, on, you know, Instagram, whatever. You know, because I'm only gonna go for a little while longer. I might stretch it to 1:15, you know, around there. But here's what I think you should do. This would be like the Independence Day double feature. On the 4th of July, you get some barbecue. You get, you know, if you don't have a grill, get a grill. And don't get a propane, okay? Don't get a propane. Get a charcoal grill, okay? Treat it, you know, burn all the chemicals off, do what you do. Oh wow, people left. Oh my god, maybe they went to share. Holy shit. Or maybe not, maybe they just left. Because it is about to be like 1 o'clock or on a Tuesday. But like with the barbecue going, do it upright. Get ribs, get chicken, get everything. All the accoutrements. Barbecue outside, listen to music outside, drink beer, you know, enjoy the freedom, you know, of the holiday that is the 4th of July. And, you know, you start, like, let's say people come over at noon, you know what I mean? Noon, you get some hors d'oeuvres, you get snacks, you have a little plate, you start watching, uh, Eddington, you know? And it's a slow burn film, and it doing it on the 4th of July will add another layer, in my opinion, will add another layer to um the experience, because like you're gonna be like, here's the thing, total, you're at most it's like a 7 or 8 hour day. So on the 4th, that's why I say on the 4th of July. See, what I do on the 4th of July and on New Year's and Christmas is I watch The Twilight Zone on both days, But yeah, this is gonna be like a day event. You're like 6-7 hours. So start with Eddington. It ends, and then one battle after another sort of picks up after the events of Eddington. And if you watch it in that way, these films would complement themselves so like effortlessly, and the themes of it and everything would blend so beautifully. And like I said, you're gonna have like a micro spread while other things are cooking, and all that's gonna add to the experience of what these two films represent. And that is ultimately like, never not lose focus on the bigger issue at hand, and always be a good person and strive to make change, even though it may not be apparent in the moment. That makes sense. Oh man, I've been talking for an hour straight. That's wild. I can't wait to see what in an hour. I think the new episode of Gen V comes on. I might watch that. I don't know why I'm looking at my watch as if the time is not right there, but I might do that. I might watch it and live tweet, and then get a couple hours, and then go and do this stupid jury duty thing. And I'm not like negative about jury duty. I understand that you gotta do it, but I think I'm gonna go live. I think I'm gonna go live during jury duty. I think that's gonna be the thumbnail. But yeah, guys, I think the American Satire is back, and I think if you haven't seen One Battle After Another, go see it. If you haven't seen Eddington, go see it. These are the type of films all Americans need to be seeing. That's just my opinion. Yeah, I might end it early. Shit, I'm like, fuck going to 1. Like, I'm not, as I think people have gone to bed, and the ones that aren't gonna be in bed are gonna be up, and I'm not, because I gotta be up at 8 o'clock I gotta leave here. Oh, I gotta be there by 8, so I gotta leave even earlier than that. So, guys, thank you for joining the second stream. Oh, hey, what's up? Someone jumped in. I might stay for a full hour. I think I'm gonna do that. I think the goal is to stick for a full hour, but oh damn. See, I gotta learn to end it. Okay, I'm probably gonna end it now. Okay, unless like I get 4 or 5 viewers, but right now, guys, this is it. So I want to thank everybody. Boof, X Powerhouse. Hope y'all subscribe. I hope everybody who's watching this subscribes. These are gonna be daily for a while. Sky and locations, all that fun stuff. So thank you for stopping by. And like, if all things go well, I'm gonna be doing a live stream from the courthouse while I wait for jury duty. So yeah, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Christopher A. Padilla, signing off.